10-minute practice. Yeah, then we're doing a 15-minute quali. Instead of a 30-minute race where you have to do a kart change, we're doing a 15-minute race as a heat, and then a 15-minute race as bog standard as well. So after your first 15-minute race, the classification of that race will be your starting grid for the second race. A couple of things, we're going to be running the members event as BIKC rules. So first things first, if there's any barriers, any contact, any crashing, anything like that, that will accumulate a penalty point for you. Once you receive 2 penalty points, you will then receive a black flag. Any black flag will be a stop and go penalty. Your first one is 10 seconds, your second one is 30 seconds, your third one is 1 minute, and then your fourth one is disqualified from that session. Any penalty points do not carry forward into your next session. So if you accumulate 1 in practice as an example, you will have 0 again for qualifying and 0 for the races going forward.
Alright dude, I'll be upstairs I think. When I footage up there. GP2. Practice quality big race. Right, yeah. Practice quality big race.
Head up. Shake it side to side, up and down. You know your cart number?
Just going to move these like that. They're the same, but they've just got to flip them down like that, right?
almost contact that barrier over there, okay? You can go. contact with that barrier, you can go.
If anybody can spot that, do let me know in the comments below. Yeah, so Oscar takes his eye off the game for a split second there, gives me a thumbs up to acknowledge that he knows he's in P2, and clips the barrier on the way through his hairpin. I think that unsettled him a little bit. He was probably expecting then to be sent back into the pits. So from here on outwards, really, he doesn't progress. He doesn't catch up with Jamie Schumann, at least.
that to be so aggressive.
It's alright.
You're right. He was in P2 for most of that.
There's a TV up there telling me the stories.
I so you knew where you were anyway. So, I don't need to say then, do I?
How do you think I did that?
I didn't realise you going past that quick. It's hard to tell what your hand signals or anything are. But no, that was really good. I mean, yeah, it's been P2 for most of that. Once you hit that barrier, it's because you waved at me. You gave me a thumbs up and went drifted wide into the barrier. It was only in the next couple of laps after that really it started dropping down a little bit. But Birmingham top 5. There's only Alex who was about 10th. I think somewhere around there who let you guys down. Dominated. DJ, who finished P9, he's a local member here. He's the only junior here, I think he's 15. So you've just beat a local member.
I don't think
Alex is. He's usually quick, isn't he? I thought he was a bit off the pace. Alright then, everything you got, okay? See you on the other side.
Forward start. That's good. Okay guys, as a reminder, as soon as that goes green, you are good to go. Okay? Best of luck, have fun.
I think this actually might be a bit of a blessing in disguise. After all, we're here for practice for the BIKC. No better way of practicing than to have to fight back from the back of the pack. So as we come around the first few bends here, Oscar does the right thing. He keeps the inside line. We come down the hill here and he gets shunted and pushed out to the wide there. Now there was 3 carts wide there. I think again he was just the victim of being on the outside of 3. We come round here and this time it's 3 carts wide again. He ends up in the middle and there's just nowhere for him to go. So all the carts now are going to continue around the track. The race stays green lights. They come back round, overlap him before the marshals finally get him back on track. So the rest of the event from this point onwards just becomes a recovery race.
It happens every time.
I know. Honestly, that's like what we need. you can go.
You heard it in Oscar's voice there. It's not just me editing these videos saying this sort of stuff, but in pretty much every single race Oscar's involved in, right from his first ever race at Teamworks. He's getting loaded into at the start of the race, he's getting pushed out into the barriers. Every time he ends up 3 wide, he ends up in the barrier. It's just so damn typical that it's always Oscar on the receiving end. We don't know when this bad luck's going to stop. I thought we'd left it behind in 2024, but apparently not. We've brought it right the way through 2025 with us. So Oscar's got to learn somehow how to be stronger, more physical on the track, how to defend his position. If you know what I mean, I don't mean defend by not letting people past, I mean how to keep it on track when he's 3 wide, because he's always the one that ends up in the barrier, and it's so bloody frustrating to keep watching over and over again. Oscar finished P14, one of the kart must have retired from the race after 11 laps there. So he's going to be starting basically from the back of the pack for the final. And as I said earlier, it's the best preparation we could really ask for in terms of practicing for the BIKC.
It's always you, isn't it? Just got completely squashed at the start of the race. Yeah. This is where you got to learn some strength. I don't know how, but
There's nothing I can do about it. That's not perfect.
Oh my god, you've had an absolute stinker off the pedals.
It happens every time.
I know.
I'm still trying to figure out how he knows. Oscar's reputation must precede him. He's never met Oscar before in his life. Anyway, let's move on to the final.
right, final. P14, I believe. Okay. There you go. You're in 28 again, same car. That was alright, wasn't it?
I didn't know if you had one.
Is this safe?
Have a good race.
You too.
Alright, everything, mate. You're strong.
So the objective's very simple. There's absolutely no pressure on Oscar. He hasn't got anything to defend. He can simply put his head down and go. Let's see how many positions we can make up. We haven't come here with any intention of trying to get a top 3 spot. It's an away track. It's simply we're just here for practice. If we was back at home, of course, Oscar wants to finish top 3 and get on the podium. But yeah, it's simply about learning as fast as we can the track, where we defend, where we need to overtake. I think he's done a brilliant job of it so far. Still some work to do. I can see a few areas out there he can improve on. Let's see how he does.
Go on. Go on, dude. Be 9. Go on, you've got plenty of time. Brilliant. Back marker, I think. Jamie has absolutely run away with this. Yeah, this one was a bit late for Oscar. I know there's the 50-50 rule and he's about 50-50 there at the time of impact, but Grace had no chance there really. She would never have seen him coming. He almost loses the position back to DJ there as well, but just manages to hold on. But I'm glad he's going for it. It's only been the last few months that we've seen this sort of aggression from him, and it's basically part of him developing, part of his learning. If he doesn't go for these sort of overtakes in a lot of races, he won't be moving up the grid. So a bit more calculation. We're almost there.
So P8 finish for Oscar. Overall, great bit of experience on this track for him. Definitely got a taste for it now. We're back up here on October the 9th for another members session. Whether I make a video from that one or not, I just don't know. I've got so much to do, so much work on other videos that still need doing. Rora, for example. But yeah, we're looking forward to coming back. We'll see if he can increase on his lap time. As you'll see on the scoreboard there, Oscar didn't quite manage to get out of the 39s. He was almost into the 38s. So after this finish, we stayed behind and done one more 15-minute session where he was on track with just 2 other members, and he got a 38.888. So we are actually into the 38s now, and we'll look to see if we can increase that, improve on that for the October 9th members session.
That was a hell of a race. Well done. Did say, didn't we? If you can get into the top 8, top half, you did it. You would have known, didn't you, by the screen in there? What do you think? I don't know why these things are all still moving. It won't take a screenshot while they're there. You want to do an extra one then? Yeah.
You can't have them like that. That's called the ankle breaker. If you crash while it's like that, it will snap your ankle every time.
Yeah, it's just a habit, I do it.
Have it like that all the time. Okay. That's just how I've been taught.
That's alright.
So achy.
Huh?
I'm aching so much now.
Yeah, so am I.
So a word of advice there for anybody wanting to race High Wycombe. This is a highly demanding physical track. Oscar's competed in a total of 7 sessions on here tonight. He also done 2 public sessions before the members event got underway, just to get a feel for the track. So anybody attending here, make sure you're fit and healthy.
So why is that the last session of the night? Isn't it you pull out the fastest time?
That's not Oscar, that's a really good time.
Yeah, you always say it's the best for the last session.
Absolutely. Even when you're most tired, you still pull it out.
Fire off the camera. Hold it. Just film up your nose.